Welcome to Rock Solid Productions, where in this video we are going to show you how to refurb your old Game Boy Advance SP and add some color to it. Stay tuned. Hey there, and welcome to Rock Solid Productions. My name is Gary, your host here on the channel. Before we get started, I just want to take a second and say thank you for stopping by and checking out what we have going on here today. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you see here, I invite you to check out some of the other videos that we have here on the channel. We've done other mods, other tutorials, things along those lines that you should check out as well. And if you really like what you see here, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification, and let me know what is your favorite Game Boy Advance game of all time. This is one of my favorites here, Super Mario Advance 4, which is basically Super Mario Bros. 3. So recently I was scouring YouTube and checking out some other videos when Pat over at Show Me Retro did a video showing how to install a glow-in-the-dark case on a Game Boy Advance SP. Well, it got me thinking, you know, if you can put a glow-in-the-dark case on it, why can't you put cases of other colors on it? And this is actually my oldest daughter Cassidy's Game Boy Advance SP. It is scratched up and marred up, and basically it doesn't look very good anymore. And well, quite honestly, she's not a huge fan of pink. She doesn't really play this. I, however, do. Now the nice thing about this one is this is a Game Boy Advance. What is this? This is the AGS 101. So this does have the brighter LCD on it. So it got me thinking after watching Pat's video. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I'll have it linked right up there. I will also have it down in the more info section. So I've got a thing for orange. I've got a Spice Orange Japanese GameCube. I have a Spice Orange original Game Boy that I got the first year that I went to the Mo Game Con in 2018. What if I could make this Game Boy Advance SP Spice Orange? Well, that's exactly what we have here today, and we're doing it for under 15 bucks. So what we're going to do, we're going to take all the parts, throw it on the bench, we're going to walk you through the process. Now, I really recommend watch Pat's videos and watch this one as well, because he does things a little bit differently than I do. Not saying his way is right, my way is right, just saying there's a number of different ways that you can get to the same end goal. Check out his videos because he's got some great tips and tricks too on there. But we're going to go ahead and, yeah, this has seen better days. Let's give it a facelift. Let's get started. So here, looking at the top of the case, you can see how it's all marred and scratched up. There's a pretty decent dent. Pretty sure she dropped it. You know, the back, not a whole lot better. We got this used at GameStop when she was like 8, so we've had this probably a solid 10 years or so. So it is time to go ahead and we're going to retire the pink. So the kit that we have came with, you know, the bottom portion there, the top portion for the screen, a new decal and everything for the you know, the model number and whatnot, the new screen protector on there. Now it did also come with two tools. It came with both a tri-wing and a Phillips screwdriver. Now, in addition to what's included, I have several tools that I will be using as well. So I've got my tweezers that I'll be using. I also have a plastic version if I'm in somewhere, that way it doesn't conduct electricity. A dentist pick. It's always handy to have for stuff like this. An X-Acto knife, a spudger, a small flat blade screwdriver, and then I actually have another tri-wing driver I'll actually be using. I didn't realize that those came with the kit, so that's nice to see. I also have an empty Game Boy case. This is where our screws are going to go. So we will move our parts and everything out of the way for right now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the battery. That way we don't have to worry about you know, any electrical current or anything like that going on while we are inside the system. There's that. It's held into place here with a little E-clip so that screw will not come out and you will not reuse this. And with that, the battery itself. If you've never seen one, that's what a Game Boy Advance battery looks like. I've actually never opened one of these up, so very cool. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5, 6 tri-wing screws we need to remove. And these, you know, there's a lot of screws here. They don't take a whole lot of force. They're just threaded into molded composite. Take your time going through here. Nice to see the tip on this bit is actually magnetized, so it pulls the screws out rather nicely. Alright, so we'll get this one last screw out of the way. And now with those out, that should, yep, lift right off. So we are ready to actually start kind of taking this apart and start transferring components. So here's your main motherboard. There's a screw here, here, and there, it looks like, that holds it into place. Check while you're in here. Good time just to, you know, there's a little bit of dog hair and fuzz. A little bit of compressed air always will be good to clean that out of there. So at this point, I'm going to bring in the new bottom, basically. And it has a little bag of parts. There's screws there. There's the stuff for the hinges are on there, a new Nintendo badge. This is that. So, you know, kind of good to see like for like there. We're going to flip this over because the cardboard here kind of keeps all those membranes in place. Again, that's a Phillips. Now, don't just go ripping and pulling this up because there's ribbon cables in here you need to be very cognizant of. So we're going to lift this up, and there's a ribbon cable underneath right here that we need to release. There's also a speaker here that we have to pop out. So first things first, we will take our plastic tweezers and we will grab this zip connector and release that. Here we go. Now the motherboard itself can come out. We're going to just set it here, but we're not going to tighten anything down because we still need to route that into here. We're also going to very carefully grab this speaker and pop it out, making sure not to rupture the membrane or anything along those lines. Now, if you want to reuse these membranes, you can, but the new case and everything, it includes them. These are brand new. I think they feel okay, but if you would prefer the original, you do have that option. So we'll take and set our speaker in here. Again, if you've got a little bit of compressed air or whatnot, you can kind of clean that off. Drops right in, just like it should. Now we're going to pull out the membranes and the D-pad and the buttons, just for preservation's sake. I don't want these getting lost. So now at this point, what we need to do, and there you can see the bottom is completely empty. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rubber plugs that basically we have to pull out so we can remove the LCD from the top of the display, or the top of the casing, I mean. And this is one of the areas where I differ from Pat a little bit. He uses a flat blade screwdriver to get in there. I will either use a dental pick or the X-Acto knife. Let's see if I can get in there with the pick. There we go. Come on, you. Come on, you. There we go. And those are actually not Tri-Wing. Those are Phillips. I was kind of surprised to see that. So we'll get the rest of them out. Let's see if the X-Acto will work for that. Say this much, Nintendo used good adhesive. Just be careful if you're using an X-Acto blade. If you slip, you can cut yourself really, really bad. There's 3. Now, I'm not worrying about keeping these because this kit actually has new plugs included with it. Bald guy talking about plugs. Huh? Who knew? Okay, and one more. Okay, so now that we have those, we'll grab, that's the Tri-Wing, that's the Phillips, our Phillips. Now, another reason for the tweezers out here as well is if they don't come out neatly from the case, you can use like these guys are great because they're plastic and you can grab onto the screws and not have to worry about A, shorting anything out if it's connected to something that's powered, or B, marring something up. Now, one thing I did forget to mention that I did do is before I really started monkeying around with the motherboard, I actually turned the switch on to discharge any capacitors before I started working. It's important to know. I should have mentioned that earlier. So now, just like that, that comes out, and now we have to get this ribbon cable out of here ever so gently, and it should just kind of push through. And before you do that though, there's one last screw right here I almost forgot about. And what that screw does is it releases this little shroud right there that protects the ribbon cable. So the last little bit we need to do before we are done with this all together is we need to get the hinges out there and there. They are different colors. The one on the left is black, the one on the right is white. And basically, my understanding is you can just kind of push those through and they should pop out, kind of, sort of, maybe. That one's being kind of a pain. Let's see if we can get this one off any easier. There, that one actually popped out a little bit easier. There, that one's out now. Be careful you don't stab your hand on this. There we go. Okay, now we can set this guy aside. We are done with that one. And we're gonna slide off the caps here, because there are new ones that come with it, but we will set these just aside for now because we are not to that point. Okay, next up we need to prep our screen, and what we need to do with this, first of all, is we need to get the old protector off. Probably the best way to do that is hit this with a heat gun or a hair dryer. Bald guy again, having problems thinking of hair dryer, and then slowly take an X-Acto blade and work your way around to kind of free the adhesive from the screen underneath. Be very careful here not to scratch the underlying LCD or to cut your ribbon cable. That would be a bad day. You can see I'm just taking my time, going very slowly on this. Now with that off of there, I can actually clean up any of this, and then here is our new screen that will go on top of here. So with this, what we'll do, we'll actually put it in the face and then lay that on there to go ahead and adhere that. I want to make sure that you don't have any bits of fuzz on the screen itself. There's another little one right there, and again, this is a good time to use some tweezers to kind of clear that garbage off of there. And then what we can quite realistically do is, so place that in there and we can place our screen right on top of this. Now one thing too, and I thought this was the case, is the fact there's a protective film on the outside of the screen. Before you seal everything up, you want to peel off. Okay. There we have the top of the screen in there. We'll grab some of our screws and kind of get those holding everything in place. Now for this, since you are screwing into new plastic, you may want to use a screwdriver that has a little bit of a finer point on the bit. This is my Connexus multi-tool that just works great for stuff like this. Definitely fits the screw heads better and gives me more control over what I'm doing. I apologize, I know my hand is in the way right now, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. So there we have our screen in our new housing. Now we will take and flip this upside down and route our ribbon cable back through here. And then there is in this bag, and if you lose any screws, there's screws here too that comes with it. So now that we're to this point, we're going to need to reinstall the orange protector essentially for the ribbon cable. But before we do that, we're going to actually install the hinges. And this is one of them I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm concerned with, but I'm just trying to figure out how these guys slide off of there. Just like that. Okay. And this actually includes new hinge covers, so we'll slide that guy into place. Maybe. Well, it is directional, so be aware of that. There we go. Don't force things. If it's not going, there's a reason why. So now that we've swapped out the caps here, we're going to reinstall the cover that goes over the ribbon cable. And that does come with the kit. And the screw hole goes towards the back, so it is not uniform front to back, left to right. So the longer side goes towards the screen itself, when it's closed at least. So there's that. And then I've already pulled the ribbon cable through. We will put our screw in there. And again, it's one of those things, our connexus bit just bites in a little bit better. Now while we were working, you can see some of our stuff fell out here, so we're going to open up our screen and then see about getting our hinges back in. There's that one. There's that one. Awesome. We are getting there. All right, so we'll flip that closed again. We're going to reinstall our A and B buttons, making sure that they're in the right orientation, right spot. Thankfully it's tabbed, so if I get them mixed up, they just won't go in. There we go. There's that one. And that one should go like so, and it does. There's that. Put our membrane back over the top. Our speaker also fell out. I've got that sitting aside. And our brightness button up top too. That dropped right in. Put our speaker right back in, and we'll put our motherboard in. But now I'm going to turn it around this way, and I have to get that ribbon cable reinstalled in here, right? So do this first. If you haven't done it, make sure that you pull the board or the ZIF connector up. I was trying to go under that locking tab. It actually goes on top of it, so good to note. There's that, and then that side's locked, that side's locked. Again, make sure you have everything in here before you seal it up. So brightness button, AB buttons, you've got your D-pad here, you've got your buttons down here. Everything there is in place. The one thing we are missing, however, is our power switch, which I just happen to have right here. And that will drop in there. Make sure that you align the tab into place. And then the clicky part of it is actually in the back side. So now at this point we're ready to tighten the screws that hold the motherboard into place. Again, perfect time to use our plastic tweezers. Now as you do thread these screws into place, be careful, you are threading into new plastic. Make sure you do have a good bite on the screw head because it is possible to strip out your new posts. Try to do this one left-handed so you can actually see it a little bit better. So we're almost there. Now there is one piece that popped out that I had no idea where it came from, and that's this little guy right there. So where that goes is under here for the battery door that actually will get inserted on this side. There's a new one that came with the conversion. We will use that one. And you do need to insert that before you put your other screws and everything in here. So there you can see it just, it's a press fit in there. There we go. That should lay flat in there when it is fully installed. Now we are ready to go ahead and seal her back up. You know, kind of snap into place first. Make sure that you have the switch in the off position here. So what we're going to do now is we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws to go ahead and put back in and reinstall. Actually 6 for the one up top. I forgot that one earlier and I missed that one again. And again, you heard me say it before, this little dude comes in super handy as you are putting your screws and everything back in. So there's that one there is in. I've got to get that one and then the other ones. Now remember, this one and that one are shorter than the others. Snug them down, don't go gorilla again. And now we're going to drop in our others. While I do appreciate the fact that they included fresh screws and everything, man, I would have liked it if they would have just foregone the tri-wings altogether and just gone with regular Phillips head screws. Alright, so we're in there. So I did this one first. I'm going to do that one just to do kind of a cross pattern. I am digging how this is looking, I will tell you that right now. This thing looks frickin' sweet so far, and we're not even quite done yet. There we go, and you saw I unscrewed slightly to get it to sit properly in the hole here. Get in your home. Get in your hole. Don't you want to get in your home? That's your home. And again, one of those things, just being a righty, kind of hard to do this in this position and not block the camera. Okay, so there's that one. And we've got just that one left, at least on the bottom side, not including the battery door and everything. So a couple minor things that we have to do yet. We've got to put our little grommets and whatnot in around the top. So then we go ahead and we put the rubber plugs into each of their spots there. It's just a pressure fit is all that is. Now we need to go ahead and put our Nintendo badge on the top. So there's our new Nintendo badge that we will take and use our X-Acto knife to peel off the backing paper. There we go. And we'll just use the tip of our knife to kind of get it all centered up here. There you see the Nintendo badging on that. So last couple things we're going to do here is we have our label that we're going to put on here. And again, we'll use our X-Acto knife to kind of get everything lined up. And there we have our label in place. No magic smoke, no magic smoke, no magic smoke. Hey, no magic smoke, that's a good sign. I'll screw this guy down. So our transplant is complete, but the question is, did the patient survive? So we've got Donkey Kong Country here. Fingers crossed. Volume up. Power on. Hey now. I'd say we have a successful transplant. Let's wrap it up. Again, huge props to Pat at Show Me Retro. I referred to his video many times as I went through and did this for the first time, and he gave me the confidence that I could go ahead and do this mod and be confident. You know, he gave me the confidence I could be confident. That's the dumbest thing I probably could have said about that. But he gave me the confidence I could go ahead and do this, and I now have my Spice Orange Game Boy Advance SP to go along with my Spice Orange Game Boy with my Spice Orange GameCube and the matching Spice Orange controller. So there's a lot of different colors that are available out there. You don't have to do Spice Orange. Like I say, Pat did a glow-in-the-dark version. There's a ton of different ones out there on eBay. I paid under 20 bucks for this overall, and I am really satisfied with the overall result. It looks great. It's probably the same kit and everything that the person who did the mod on the Game Boy that I bought used. So very cool on there. The one part of this mod I would say be very careful as you're going through and doing this is when you are removing the old screen protector and applying the new one. I actually got a scratch on mine as I was installing it. So it is delicate. Be aware of that. And also just do your due diligence to make sure that you don't have hair and fuzz or dust or other things like that getting trapped underneath that screen protector. But man, look at that. That looks so good. I am super geeked about this. Again, Pat, thank you so much for your tutorial. Check him out, Show Me Retro. Cool guy. He's actually the guy that I bought my TurboGrafx 16 from at the Mo Game Con Junior 2020. Now, if you do have any questions about anything that I've shown you here today, any kind of console mods or anything along those lines, as always, I invite you, send me an email, rocksolidmail@gmail.com. If you do want me to do this mod for you, we do offer modding services. Email me, we can talk about it. If you've got any other questions or comments, as always, you can hit me up on Twitter at RockSolidStudios. You can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions and Instagram at instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK. Now, if you want to help support the channel so we can do things like buy mod kits for our Game Boy Advance SP so that we can get new and cool things to do here on the channel. As always, you can head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/rocksolid for as little as $1 a month, $12 a year. You get early access to all of our content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. You can also head on over to our Teespring store on screen right now, where we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more with the Rock Solid Productions logo on a variety of different retro cartridges. And if you do have a Game Boy or a Game Boy Advance and you have not cleaned it recently, what are you doing? Pick up one of these awesome 1-Up card cleaning cards specifically designed for Game Boy games or Game Boy SP games at CastlemaniaGames.com. And the cool thing over there is Ryan has a feature called Castle Cash, where the more you spend, the more you earn towards future purchases. And the cool thing too is that you can use promo code ROCKSOLID10 to save 10% off of most items on the website. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I want to know what your favorite Game Boy Advance game of all time is. This one is up there for me. Super Mario World still takes the cake. The Earthworm Jim game hurts my heart though. But do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and head on over to Show Me Retro and subscribe to Pat as well. I'm just thrilled with how this turned out. This looks awesome. I am Gary. This has been Rock Solid Productions and our installation of a new case on the Game Boy Advance SP to make it match our GameCube that's Spice Orange and our Game Boy that's Spice Orange. I thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon.